What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about One Crazy Summer. First things first, I'm going to let you all know my overall opinion of the movie, and to be 100% honest, I thought this movie was super solid. I had a really good time with it. It was extremely funny. It was weird because for the most part it was realistic, but some of the gags were just over the top. Like there's this girl. I think it's, what's the character's name? George. It's his little sister, and she's got this dog who's like looks all busted up. Like this dog's definitely been through some stuff. And when anyone messes with her dog or says anything bad to her dog, she like always gets revenge. And early on in the movie, these girls are making these nasty faces, and this crossing guard's like, you know, if you make those faces and someone slaps you on the back, they'll stick like that. So the girls are making the faces, and they make fun of the one girl's dog, and she slaps them on the back, and their face is like stuck like that for the rest of the movie. And then George drives by, he's like, man, there's some like real ugly kids at this school. So for the most part, the movie is realistic, but then there's just some like crazy over the top, totally fantasy elements. So it was a good blend. It was just like a feel good movie. It was funny. It would have been nice to check out in the summer. It's a fantastic summer movie, but I mean it's getting into spring. I mean, this is, you know, it's pretty much summer, whatever. But yeah, like I said, I thought this movie was awesome. I had a great time with it. I didn't have super high expectations going in. I knew like a little bit about this movie, but it's not one that you really hear about. Like, I don't think it's like one of the most well-regarded 80s movies, but I mean, I definitely think it's underrated. It's definitely, you know, worth mentioning. Like, I feel like more people should talk about this movie because it was a good time. But anyways, I'm gonna get into a little plot summary here. So you have this. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I just remembered this now that I'm talking about it. So you got this high schooler, Hoops, and he's played by John Cusack. And the school they go to is called Generic High School, and the town they live in is called like Generic, which was absolutely hilarious. I don't know. That was just like a little detail that I thought was funny. But anyways, his name is Hoops, and he comes from a basketball family, and his parents wanted him to get a basketball scholarship, but he's like the worst basketball player ever. Throughout the entire movie, he'll just like always try to like throw like little, you know, paper in the trash can or whatever. He's always trying to like shoot little basketball shots whenever, and he misses almost every single shot in the movie. So he's kind of tripping. Like him and George are at graduation, and he's kind of tripping. He's like, you know, my parents are on me that I'm not you know, getting this basketball scholarship, and he's kind of like not looking forward to the summer. But he draws a lot. He draws cartoons, which that was like the opening segment of the movie, was like one of his cartoons but animated. And that actually gets into a point that I want to discuss later, where like this is rated PG, but I mean there are, I mean, the cartoon was kind of violent towards the end, and there is some stuff in here where I'm like, how is this PG? But I'll get to that later. So anyways, the basketball scholarship thing, it's not going to work out. He wants to get a scholarship to like a design school or an art school, and he's not really feeling the summer. And his buddy George is going to Nantucket, so at first he's not gonna tag along. But then like everyone is getting their like a car from their parents as a gift for graduation, and everyone like is getting really cool cars. And then Hoops gets like a giant street cleaner, and he's like, yeah, F this, yeah, I'll just go with you to Nantucket. And right before they're leaving, they're in the bathroom, and there's these guys looking for money, and there's this girl hiding. Her name's Cassandra, and she stole the money because basically she's trying to save her uh, grandfather's house, and in the process of trying to get away from these guys, she gets in the car with Hoops and George, and they go on this jump. They like jump onto the boat because that's the thing. Hoops is scared of boats. He's like, we gotta take a boat there, and then George is like, yeah, dude, it's an island. Like, of course you have to take a boat. And they jump the car onto the boat, and it's so funny because like the way they filmed it and edited it, you can tell like no, the stunt people, they didn't like actually jump, from like land to a boat. Like you could see the car, like they probably just jumped it off something, and they just jumped it into the lake because it was going like way down, and then they just like cut, and then it's just like on the boat. That was kind of funny. But anyways, they get on the boat, they go to Nantucket. We meet all kinds of wacky characters. There's these twins. There's this dude who is like super rich, and he owns a Ferrari, and him and his dad are trying to buy Cassandra's grandfather's house to turn it into some like lobster restaurant, and they're just like kind of a-holes. They're like the main villains. And Cassandra is a musician, so she's playing shows, like only like a couple people are coming, and like Hoops goes out with this other girl, and Cassandra gets kind of mad, so to win her back, he like makes this animated video and all these flyers for her, and gets a bunch of people coming to her show, and she gets enough money for the house. But even though she was gonna buy it on time, it was like she basically got like outbid by these rich fools. And so there's this boat race, and the rich guys, if they like win the boat race every year, and it's like the rich guys, there's like a grandfather, and then there's like the dad who's just a total a-hole, and then the son who, like the younger son, who he's the guy who owns the Ferrari. He's an a-hole. He's not as bad as the dad, but anyways, they have to, the younger rich guy has to win the boat race every year, or he's like cut off from the family money. So it's a big deal to him. He's like been sailing for a long time. So since Cassandra can't get the money, they try to win the boat race, because they know if they win that the dad and the son will be cut off, and they won't buy the grandfather's house. So that's the basic plot for you. So I thought it was a pretty good little story. I mean, the antagonists were definitely unlikable. Like, they were just super duper unlikable. I don't know. And yeah, the one guy, like the introduction to the younger rich dude is like, Hoops like barely touches his car. Like, the dude's about to hit Hoops, and he just like kind of like leans on his car, because like he drives right up to him. He's like, why you touching my car, man? Hey, get off my car, dude. Blah blah blah. And then he just like proceeds to eat animal crackers. I mean, animal crackers slap. I mean, they're a tasty treat. I mean actually, I don't know if I would say they slap. They're okay. I mean, the frosted animal crackers are where it's at. Those are the bee's knees. He doesn't have those. He just has the regular ones. But I mean, that is like a classic snack. So I mean, I wouldn't say they slap, but they're all right. They're not a bad time. But anyways, what I said I wanted to get into earlier was like talking about the rating and how this movie's PG, like, I don't know how this movie's PG, because I was looking it up. I was like, was PG-13 out at this time? And I guess this came out in 1986, and the first PG-13 movie came out in 1984, so it's like, it could have been PG-13. I don't know how they got away with a PG rating, because, like I said, the intro cartoon, the rhino who's like there's this like rhino character that he draws, which is basically him, which I don't understand, but whatever. And the rhino like just gets a machine gun and like shoots up all these bunnies, and then I feel like there is a little bit of swearing. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly. I mean, I don't think they said like dropped any F-bombs, but I feel like they said like shit a couple times, and then they're like flipping each other off during the boat race, and the cartoon at the end is a little violent. Like, I don't know how this is PG, but that was part of the reason why I like was skeptical about this movie, because I was like, PG, like this is gonna be no fun, but it was pretty fun actually. So, you know, you can't judge a movie on its rating, I guess. But anyways, I'm just gonna get into some general likes here. I didn't really like the way I took notes and stuff. I didn't really structure this that much, like compared to other reviews I've done. So I'm pretty much just gonna talk about random scenes that I like. So I mean, I hope you all like that. That's just what I was feeling for this, because there wasn't really that much, like I couldn't really think of anything that I disliked. I don't know. It was just a fun movie, a fun time. The animated segments were on point. It was just it looked like a cartoon that if I was a young kid, I would just be super down to watch it. Like, it's always like based on hoops, and he's this rhino character, and there's like these bunnies that are always messing with him. So it's like the movie starts out with the animated stuff, it ends with the animated stuff. I feel like there's like a little bit here and there, but I thought the animation was really good, and it was a cool little cartoon. It was cool, kind of like broke up the movie. It's like, oh, we got a little animated segment, cool. We got the real world segment. I just said world 2 times. Real world? No, we got the real world segments also. So, you know, it's a good blend of a bunch of different elements. You know, so those segments were really cool. He's dating the rich dude's girlfriend. Her name's Cookie. Like, he's not dating her, but he goes on a date with her, and he doesn't even really want to, because he's trying to go see Cassandra's show, like one of the like early ones where no one comes, but Cookie just shows up to his house, and it's funny when they're going out, because like he doesn't want to get seen by her boyfriend or have anyone like know that he's out with her. So he's got like this big hat on, he's got sunglasses, and she's like, go get me popcorn. He brings back like the biggest bag of popcorn I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, a lot of the jokes in this movie are kind of like that. It's like a lot of prop humor and slapstick, which I mean I'm into, so that's cool. But yeah, speaking of popcorn, one of the twins is actually played by a dude who's in that slasher movie Popcorn, and I recognize him right off the bat. So I'm like, oh, cool. That movie is thebomb.com. Popcorn. It's a little slasher movie from the 90s. I feel like that movie's hecka underrated. I did a review for that on the channel. That movie rules. But anyways, it's funny because they're at the drive-in and they're watching this movie, and she's trying to like get out of there, and he's like, no, let's stay, I'm really getting into this movie, like I really like the story, and then he like looks at it, and they like play a clip from the movie, and he's like, actually never mind, let's get out of here. And it's like some like 80s slasher movie. Like, it's not a real movie, but it's like a movie that they made for the movie, but it's like some cheesy 80s slasher movie, and he's like, no, I don't want to watch this, let's get out of here. So I mean, I thought that was funny, because I'm like, they were kind of like making fun of those type of movies, and I'm a fan of those type of movies, so I thought that was a good little joke. Yeah, I already talked about Hoops sucking at basketball, but I wrote that down too. That was hilarious. His name's Hoops. He comes from a long line of uh, really good basketball players, and he's just absolutely terrible. He's always still trying to shoot his shot though. Gotta give him props for that. You know, he's got that. He read that quote like, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take." Like he really took that quote seriously. You know, he's like, maybe one day I'll get it, but actually later though he pretty much makes the one shot that he does need to make. This is a spoiler alert here, but I feel like maybe I got into spoilers in my plot synopsis anyways. But when they're doing the boat race later on, the rich dude's dad like shoots down their sail with a crossbow, and he has to like get this little ball in this little like really small circle to like get the sail back on, and he actually just like nails it in one try. So it's like he totally redeems himself. Like he can't make a shot the entire movie, and then when he like really needs to, just kills it. So that was super satisfying. Yeah, I already talked about him. Wait, no, did I talk about that? Yep, yeah. Where he's like making the flyers for Cassandra and doing the video. I thought that was cool because he's like, I mean, it's cool because he's helping her out. They had a good little romance going on, good little chemistry, and it was cool that he was helping her out, but it was also cool that he's like using his skills. Like, I mean, that's what he's really good at is the art stuff, and he totally made some awesome flyers. He made this little animation, like a little advertisement that they showed at the drive-in, and people were kind of mad, but it was pretty good. So I mean, I don't know, they're just a bunch of haters, whatever. Yeah, so there's a scene where there's one of the twins. His name is Egg, and he's supposed to like be on the lookout if he sees Cookie's boyfriend, because it's like when Hoops is on a date with her, and he's in this like prop truck, and there's this Godzilla costume, and then he goes to this party, and this dude like throws a cigar in his mouth, and he's like walking around as Godzilla with the smoke coming out of his mouth, and there's like this little like model town, because it's like a model of like what the lobster restaurant is gonna look like, and he's just like smashing the little model town, and then there's this one like investor, and he's just cracking up. He's like, "This is awesome." I mean, he's got good taste because that was awesome. That was an awesome scene. Sick Godzilla costume. I mean, I wish I had that, but that's probably like $1,000 costume. I'm not balling like that, you know, to drop 1,000 on a costume. Maybe next year for Halloween, I'll rock the Godzilla costume, have the smoke coming out, all that. That'd be pretty sick. Another thing that was really cool is when they're doing the boat race, it's like it's in parts. So at first they have to row, and then they can put their sails up, and then at a certain point they can put their sails down and just put the engine on, like towards the end of the race. And they're behind the rich dude's boat, and you know they're like losing. They're in second place, and then once they get to the engine section, they just like blow his boat out of the water because they stole his Ferrari, and they put the Ferrari engine on their boat, and you can still see the whole back of the Ferrari and the license plate. I thought that was super fun and creative, and yeah, they were just cruising. They totally blew those guys out of the water. I think there's this one guy, I think he's George's cousin, but he's just like held up in his room the entire summer, chain smoking cigarettes and listening to the radio, because there's this radio show and they give $1 million prize every summer, and he just like he won't even leave the radio. He won't even like go take a bath. Like he's got to win that prize, and he's like going crazy. He's tried it like quite a few summers in a row, and I just thought all the segments with him were really funny. There's like just so many wacky characters and wacky outlandish moments, and he actually ends up winning the prize at the end, but then like as he's on the phone, he like accidentally yanks the phone line out of the wall and someone else wins. So then he just whips out a bazooka and like blows up the radio station. And then Egg and his twin brother just like roast marshmallows on the flames. So I mean that's awesome stuff. I mean if I'm explaining this to you and you don't think this is sounds like a fun time, I mean what are you thinking? I mean it's a fun time. And then the last thing that I wrote down is the girl with the dog who she always gets back at people. But I already talked about that. But there was like quite a few instances. There's these like guys pumping gas, and she like rolled up the car window on their ties, and she just like dragged them along basically. And then actually she comes through towards the end because she gets this like prop dolphin to eat the one rich dude's dad, because he's an a-hole. He like kicks her dog like I mean these fools were already unlikable, and then he's like out here kicking dogs and stuff. Like, my boy, like what are you doing? Like, don't be kicking dogs and stuff, my guy. Like, I don't know about all that, but yeah, he needs to like chillax, like have a couple of drinks or something. This dude's like wound up, like he's just a big meanie. Like he needs to work on that. He needs to go to some anger management classes. He needs to do some yoga. You know, he needs to do his little guided meditations. Like, do your guided meditations, my boy. Like, don't be out here kicking dogs and stuff, homie. Not cool. We don't condone those activities. But anyways, yeah, that girl gets back at him, and he gets eaten by some fake dolphin, and you know, she helps out the guys during the race. So it's like that was something cool too about this movie. Like, a lot of things that are like set up in the beginning, they like come back. Like how Hoops is bad at basketball, and then he like finally makes a shot. How like you know, that little girl is like always getting back at people for messing with her dog, and she gets back at one of the villains during like the climax. So where it like really helps all like the main guys. So I mean, I pretty much said everything that I wanted to say about this movie. Like I said earlier, I thought this was a great time. So would I recommend it? I would absolutely recommend it. I mean, if you're looking for just it's one of those like feel good movies. It's super light, you know, it's like nothing too heavy. It's just it's a feel good movie. It's really funny, it's really outlandish. It's not really based in reality. I mean, it kind of is, but it's just a movie you can just kind of turn your brain off, sit back, relax, have a good time, have a laugh, feel good. Like, the romance is good. All the characters are super likable. It's just a great feel good 80s movie. And I mean, this one doesn't get talked about. I feel like it is underrated. You know, I feel like this is definitely worth seeing. So, you know, if you haven't seen this yet, check it out. But anyways, that has been my review of One Crazy Summer. Thank you all for watching. Peace out.